targeting fat loss. It is probably one of the biggest questions that I get. How do I get rid of, fat on my arms? How do I get rid of fat in my stomach? How do I get rid of fat in you name it? So I really want to take a full episode to really dive into that and discuss it. So strap in, get ready for episode 168. Let's go.
The future of fitness.
How do you gain muscle mass?
Fitness is not complicated. It's simple when you break it down.
There's so much information out there.
No fads, no diets, just plain simple habits.
You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast.
Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody, and I will be your host today. And if this is your first time tuning into the show, welcome. So glad to have you here. Just want to, very laid back conversation and talk some no-nonsense fitness. For those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. It means the world to me that you're choosing to listen to this because I know how valuable your time is. Before we dive into today's content, if you have not, then please go over to Facebook. Check out our group. We have an amazing group of people on there. Just great communication. You can post questions. There's people from literally all walks of life, all, parts of the fitness journey. So you don't have to feel overwhelmed or anything like that. But go check that out on Facebook at Bones to Bulk and get plugged in. All right. So when it comes to targeting fat loss, I get asked about it so much. And, I get it because we have usually problem areas. We all tend to store fat in different locations. And it can be frustrating when maybe we're not, overweight overall, but we just have this one stubborn area that we can't get rid of. And it's like, how do we, get rid of that? Often we think, if we have stomach fat, we just need to do more crunches, or if, we have some arm fat, we need to do more arm exercises, but it's not really the way it works. So first off, let me preface this with you cannot target fat loss. I know, sad face, but there's no way to choose where your body wants to lose fat first. So what you have to focus in on is what you're consuming calorie-wise. And maybe you've been on a weight loss journey. Maybe you've, lost fat and you're been heading in the right direction. And then there's just this one last stubborn area you can't get rid of. Or maybe you're building muscle and you've noticed that you're kind of adding some fat in an area that you don't want it to be added to. So what do you do about that? Well, it can be a little tricky and it does take some playing around. But what it comes down to is two things. A, continuing to clean up what you eat. When we eat empty calories, when we eat things that our body can't really use for muscle building, they tend to get stored as fat. For an example, juice. I know I've talked about juice before and how terrible juice is because when you drink a glass of juice, there's so much sugar content in it. It hits the liver. The liver is like, I can't do anything with all this sugar. What am I going to do? So it does the only thing it can, and it stores the excess as fat. So first thing is you want to clean up your diet. Make sure that you're continually, and I don't mean that it has to be perfect, but micro changes go a long way. So examine your diet, see what things you can continue to change. Every month or every couple months, reevaluate and see, how can I make my overall nutritional intake a little bit better? I personally do this. At the beginning of this year, I was like, what can I clean up this year that maybe I slipped a little, or maybe I just haven't focused enough attention on? For me this year, two big things was lowering my overall alcohol consumption and getting rid of peanut butter altogether. Those were two things that may seem pretty insignificant, but they were things that the compound effects, they add up. So first thing is take a look at what things you can clean up. The second thing is, if you've got fat areas that you want to get rid of, you've got to eat less. So you've got to get into that caloric deficit. Now, maybe you're trying to bulk and add muscle mass and it's working and you are, but again, you're getting that area of fat. You've still got to cut the calories a little bit to get rid of that. Once you're at the point where that last fat area is gone through a caloric deficit, then you can slowly, and I mean very, very slowly, start increasing the calories if you're wanting to get mass. We often think it's got to be this drastic calorie cut or this drastic calorie excess to gain, and often just adjusting it a little bit goes a long way. So clean up the diet, cut the calories down, because the only way to lose fat is by eating in a caloric deficit. That is the only way. There's no fad product. There's no apple cider vinegar, miracle, drug, pill, whatever that you can take that just gets rid of belly fat or anything like that. So you've got to eat in a caloric deficit to get rid of those last stubborn fat areas. And once you do, it will go away. Now, again, if you've been on this journey for a while and you've seen a lot of progress and then it's slowed down, That's pretty normal. So don't get overwhelmed. Don't feel like you're doing something wrong. You're not. It's just part of the process. So if you see progress and you get rid of some fat and then you're like, you know what, I'm just not seeing any change, and it's been 4 to 8 weeks without seeing any change. Don't just go a week and nothing changed and be like, this isn't working. You've got to give yourself more time than that. A week is not a plateau. It's going to be at least, I would say, 4 to 8 weeks before it's really a plateau if nothing's changed in that time. So if that's the case, then you need to change things up. And that's when I would suggest lowering your calories, because it may have worked for you in the past, but as you change your body composition, as you lower your overall weight and the body fat in your body, you're going to have to continually adjust those calories to match where you are now. What worked for you maybe 40 pounds ago isn't necessarily going to work for you now. You have to adjust it. You have to continually adapt and change. It's like anything. As we get better at something, we can't expect to continue to grow and to continue to develop by doing the same methods. Think about like our schooling. We learn basic math, we move into advanced math, and then calculus and all this other stuff. So, it's not enough anymore just to learn the basics. We have to advance in it. And it's the same thing with what we eat and how much we eat. We have to constantly be changing it, adapting it to how our lifestyle is changing. And I get that this isn't always the easiest thing, because sometimes we can think, well, I've already given up so much and I don't eat this and I don't eat that, but there's probably still some areas you could clean up. Maybe you're having 3 cheat meals a week, which, don't get me wrong, is good in comparison to every day being a cheat day, but maybe you can drop that down to 2. Or maybe you only allow yourself to drink 2 nights a week. Well, narrow that down to 1. Small changes, they're going to add up over time. And again, change does slow down. When you started your fitness journey, you immediately saw a lot of results, either weight loss or muscle gain, but the body adapts, it changes. And then after that initial change takes place, to further change, it takes more time. It's normal. It's part of the process. Don't get frustrated. Don't give up, because that's the point where a lot of people quit. They see a little bit of results and they get excited and they keep going, and then the results change and they don't see as much result. And that's when it can be frustrating and be like, well, I'm always going to be this way, or nothing's changing, or I tried. Continually be changing, continually be adapting, and just take it on as a learning experience. You never stop learning with fitness. I personally never stop learning. I'm always learning new things. I'm learning new exercises, new ways to change up my diet, new ways to just like live a better life. So don't get complacent, don't get comfortable, and rest assured, those hard to get fat areas, you can get rid of them. It just is going to take some more fine tweaking. All right, I hope this helps. I hope it's cleared up a lot of maybe misinformation of what you heard about targeting fat loss. If there's any pill out there or program that says get rid of belly fat, don't believe it, because it's not true. All right, caloric deficit's the only way you get rid of fat areas, and you can't choose where you get rid of fat. You just have to lower it, and eventually those problem areas will go away. All right, I hope you found this helpful. If so, let me know. Go to iTunes and leave us a review. I would be so appreciative of that, because it helps in the whole rankings of the podcast world and helps us to be able to spread the message to a wider audience. So I would greatly appreciate that. If you have a minute, just go to iTunes, leave a review, and give your honest feedback. Even if there's things you don't like, let me know so that maybe I can work to better it in the future. With that being said, remember, no matter what anybody's told you, what walls you're facing, what things are standing in your way, you can overcome any stubborn fat issues or anything else that's coming across your path. You've got this.